I call you every day, but your answer service says you're not at home. So I call you at work, but they said you can't talk, 'cause you got to make your money, 'cause you need to pay your bills. What kind of relationship do we have? You're like mom's apple pie. You're so sweet, sweet, sweet. You're like mom's apple pie. Girl, you're so sweet. You're so sweet to me, honey. So sweet to me, darling. What's up? Good morning. Tino Lucian, what's up, man? Cuzzo. Just want to wake up. Hope y'all have wakened up or have awakened to a bright, sunny day the way I have. And about to get my morning cup of coffee on and conversational chat. Hope you got your hot cup of coffee with you, so y'all can join me. I'll watch y'all drink coffee as I'll do the talking. How about that? And well, you know, I have a short story out, a book that I wrote. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt, Conversation with the Absent Biological Father Who Never Wanted to Be Found. It talks about when I accidentally found out about who my actual biological father was at age 22, but I didn't get to meet him till 39 because he didn't really want to meet me. So I knocked on his door. He said, "Hey, how'd you find me?" And I said, Google MapQuest. He said, "Hey, I have to give you an A for effort because I've worked aggressively over the years to prevent you from ever finding me. So if you'd like to get a copy of it, mess with me. It's only $10. It's in a PDF format, so if you hit me on the PayPal or the Cash App, Rico the Opinionist, it's in the description box of this YouTube channel, and it's on this Facebook page if you're one of my Facebook friends. Shout out to the 5,000 Facebook friends. Y'all been gone a while, but you made it back. And so just when you decide to mess with me at Rico the Opinionist, $ Rico the Opinionist, leave an email address so I can email it to you. Okay. Let's get to why I have decided to do this live this morning. Because I want to share my thoughts on the recent shooting at Timberview High School in the Arlington area that happened in the Arlington area. Mansfield ISD, but somehow it's still connected to Arlington Independent School District. Mansfield's like a little suburban town. It was the country, but they made it to a nice suburb. And it's still part of Arlington somehow. Well, Mansfield's right outside Arlington. But anyway, y'all get it. You saw the news. A lot of you read the newspaper. Read the headlines on social media. And what I try to do is get as much information as I can. And even as we speak, there are things still coming in as relates to that situation. But I think that most of us are responding to what most of us have received as relates to what happened. And it turns out that it was a situation of bullying. Young men got into a fight, and I guess the young man brought a gun to school and decided that enough was enough. Before I start talking, I know we're all up in our feelings about this because mass shooting seems to be has become American as apple pie and slavery. And racial discrimination against people who look like me. But the thing is, we have to put everything in context. I know for you parents out there, those of you parents of children, those of you who have children at that school, I sympathize and empathize with the fears that a parent has to go through or went through, or they go through every time they send their child out into the world to go to school or go to work or go spend the night at a friend's house or what have you. And you would think a school is a place where they're to be taught and educated, and not a place where this kind of thing happens. Well, it's America. Stuff like this has been popping off. And So I'm trying to be as delicate as I can, but I'm going to be as truthful as I can about this, because these are my opinions, my thoughts. And again, my sympathies and my hopes and my prayers and everything go out to the families who were affected by this. That means the whole school, and particularly those 4 victims who were hit by gunfire. And based on reports from the local news here, they're recovering. They were let out of school today. This is October 7th. They were let out of school today, and the counselors have been dispersed, or as they say, dispatched as well, so they can. And I saw them even in one of the popular churches here, churches there in Arlington, opening up so they can it's a process. It was traumatic. It was terrible. And so now, I even got a chance to see, I guess, the shooter's parents. Well, I think that's his mother or aunt, or they just said family members. There was a spokesperson for the family. She said, she spoke very eloquently. She spoke with much sympathy and regret and remorse to what the young man had done, making no excuses except for, I guess, trying to explain why it took place. She explained that it was a situation of bullying, and she was saying, and then went into what I call female splaining. We know he has nice things, and they were jealous of him because his nice things, and some people don't have his nice things. I think that part could have been left out, ma'am, because what you do, the more you say, you give people more to talk about and to become petty. When we all know that is true, people will hurt you about what you have and what they don't have. But of course, they were saying, well, still, he should not have brought a gun to the school and all this stuff. I get that. But let me come from another perspective. See, I'm a grown-up, and I can come from a mature, grown-up perspective, but a lot of us forget that we were children. And number 2, a lot of us forget that this is not the 1980s when we were growing up. This is not the 1970s where a lot of us were growing up. And yes, things were handled differently. We always talk about those of us who are 40 and up or 50 and up. Yeah, people got into a fight. You got your ass whooped and you moved on. But those were the standards of that day. Those were the moral fiber. That was part of the moral fiber of that day. But we all talk about how things have changed, and we'll say children aren't built the same way we were built. You know why? Because they have access, they have more conveniences, they have things they're pretty much given to them. We had to work for everything. We were taught everything by hand because there were ceilings that prevented us from having access to certain things in society. Now children have access to everything. They have technology, they have everything, including black kids are included in this. And so you can't compare when you were 10 years old and you're 55 years old, you're 48 years old. You can't do that. You can't do that comparison. Because you know about the breakdown of the family. You know about the heavy influence on particular music, movies, cartoons, and everything. So I said all that to say this. Don't try to put this kid back in 1980 when you were a kid. And I'm calling him a kid because if it was a girl that done this, y'all would say, oh, she was just a girl being jumped on and she just tired. So that double standard is already kicked in. People are like, well, he 18 years old. He a young man. Well, technically, I guess, yeah, 18. But y'all wouldn't give that same consideration had it been a girl who been bullied. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. I get sick of these grown motherfuckers spewing their grown people experience, but not going back into the context of when they was kids. And you can't put those kids today in how we handled it in the 80s. I handled things differently in the 80s. I can't stand a bully. And bullies will drive you to a place of you acting out of your character, to the place of fear, to a place of feeling you're by yourself. They will. Because I've had to get a couple of bullies off of me. Because I would see other kids who are small like me getting bullied, and I knew I didn't like that. That didn't look cool. I mean, it made me uncomfortable to see them getting bullied. And rarely people come to the rescue. And so you feel like, hey, I'm by myself. I need to take care of this myself, and by any means necessary. So I remember having to, use a weapon to take out my bully. I remember stabbing the boy in the chest with one of my Afro picks and pulling it out of his chest. And I got tired of him, fucking with me. All of that. And so now, kids are not using Afro picks. They're not using sticks anymore. They're gone to the gun. Maybe because they're not built anymore. Well, let's talk about the breakdown of society and family, how even as we speak, children are being ignored. They're only utility. So we're going to talk about that before we try to put all the world's issues, all the mass shooting and all of this stuff on this one 18-year-old boy, if this was true. And also, how many of you have seen the video? And it's been pointed out that the one who's being pummeled is the shooter, alleged shooter. The man is the young fella that's wailing on him, who's, wailing on him. But I don't know, is that the one who's getting beaten up is he's? Because I saw the video, one person said the shooter is the one who's getting beat up on in the classroom. Now let's look at the classroom, shall we? Yeah, I went to a junior high school. It's called Cypress Junior High School. When I was in Memphis, right? And across the high schools, there were roughly about 1,500 students there. From a Hyde Park and from Goodwill Village, from all over, spraying there for what's considered the toughest neighborhoods. But we only had a principal and one assistant principal. You understand? And we had a plethora of male teachers. Coach Bibbins, Coach Holly, Big Man, Mr. Lacey, and who else? Coach Cap. A lot of teachers, and we had older black women from probably the 70s or whatever who didn't take no mess. But there was a standard of respect among the students in this inner city school that certain behaviors were accepted. Now let's move back into these modern times. You got these big, beautiful schools. You have a principal and like 14 assistant principals, and they're still having problems. Mr. Simon and Mr. Walton. Mr. Simon was our principal. Mr. Hawkins first, then Mr. Simon, then Mr. Walton. Shout out to Mr. Walton and Mr. Simon if they're still with us. Who's principal and assistant principal at Cypress. Those two men, single-handedly, masculine men, single-handedly ran that school. And it was like that throughout the Memphis City schools, since we had a lot of masculine men as the principals, and they had men as assistant principal, not assistant principals. Got it? And they had law and order in the damn school. Now back then, no spanking and paddling was going on, but also just to hear of their voice and when they carried themselves. Now let's go back to that video if you've watched the video. Now, I don't know if it was a male teacher or a female teacher. All I heard was, hey, whoa, stop. Everybody standing there. No adult in the room intervening to try to break that up. Let me tell y'all one thing, and this is a fact. Do you think, when I was in school, and I guess I might have to apply this to teachers too. What I told y'all, don't put kids right now in the 80s. I guess I couldn't put men right now, and like the men were in the 70s and 80s. So y'all give me this little leeway here, because definitely there's something different. Because do you think those two boys who was fighting like they were in a WWE match, and that boy was pummeling him, you think that would have gotten that far in the 80s? Let me tell you something. One teacher broke up a fight, and it was over. One teacher intervened. They didn't allow students to fight like that in our class. If you were yelling, they were snatching your ass up. So right now, we've gotten into a society where they've taken spanking out, they've taken the power away from teachers, and the teachers are too busy, I guess, ducking for cover. And they got too many, and also, you don't have that many men in the classrooms. You don't have that many men. The only man that's in the schools seem to be these days are the goddamn police officers. SROs, what they call them. Security Resource Officers, whatever. You don't have any men, you don't have too many men in the classroom, too many men in the office. Every other high school you go to, junior high school, there's a woman as a principal. There, she tried to talk tough, but she's still a woman. And in the classroom, you got all these white women, these middle class white women, young white women, and old white women teaching these boys, black boys. And they want everybody to be soft and rosy like girls. So Rico, where you going with all this? I like to give a holistic approach to everything. Hold on, let me get across this damn street talking to y'all. And so, when I saw that video, the kid just rumbling, and there's been other videos that I've watched on social media where girls get into a fight or whatever, and the teachers can't seem to do anything about it. And so, the thing is, there's no order in these schools today. All you have the nice building. That building, that damn school looks like it could be a university, at least a small college. They spend all the money on the aesthetics, but they don't spend enough money on the meat of the school. That is, having the right people in the right places. See, that fight would not have happened. The bullying would not have occurred, because if you had told the principal one time, let me tell y'all something how they used to handle bullies when I was in school, yeah? The principal used to call in the kid used to come in, and they brought the parents in. The principal used to go and get the accused bully out of his classroom and bring him into the office, or her into the office, and with their parents, they have a discussion and a come to Jesus meeting with those damn students. And guess what? They ain't have to worry about that anymore. But see, we have this hands-off approach, which allows things to go on too far. This is what contributes to kids feeling alone and parents frustrated, because the first thing all these respondents want to say, well, did they go to the office and tell the principal? And guess what? Having one who was a substitute teacher for years in the school system, the parents do come up there, mainly mothers. You know, they don't believe in dads these days. They come up there and they tell the principal, but I'm going to tell y'all, it is a waste of time to take your complaint about your child being bullied to take it to today's principals. Because most of these principals, about 75% of them are just trying to work to keep their jobs. They're trying to work to get their retirement. They couldn't care less about your child's welfare. I said it because it's the goddamn truth. Anybody else who denied it, you're a liar and you're in denial. You know your principal ain't worth a damn. That's why they got 14 goddamn assistant principals. It doesn't make the school work move more efficiently, because nobody wants to deal with the kids really. So they try to put them off as many people as possible. We didn't have no 8th grade principal, assistant principal, 9th grade assistant principal, 10th grade assistant principal. We didn't have all that shit. It was two people, a man who was the principal and a man who was the assistant principal, and they ran the goddamn school. And guess what? The female teachers appreciated and respected the men, because they carried themselves as men. Rico, what the hell that got to do with the shooting? Well, see, I like to give background, because what we're not going to do is not put the kids in context. We're not going to put black boys, we are not going to put them in context. Because now they say, he needs to go to prison for life. He needs to be, because a lot of people were, no, he doesn't need to go to jail. I said it. Because I'm just based on the premise, if it was a bullying situation, no, he does not. What needs to happen is, they need to put more men in the schools. They need to put more men from 9th grade to 12th grade and let the women be teachers from 1st grade to 5th grade. Because that's where you need your security at. Your security and the discipline of boys of any race. But see, the feminization of boys, this stuff happens. You can't naturally, it's just like when you go to the zoo, right? And the lion is like, damn, these folks got me in here, but at any chance that lion can get, and you as a visitor get caught slipping, what that lion do? What does he do? He grab your ass with that paw, he remembers that he's from the jungle, and he tears your ass a new one. Because it's not natural for them to be encaged like that. And I'm saying about boys have to be allowed to run free and get all that exercise out. And it's hard for a young man to go tell somebody he's being bullied. You know what that does to one's self-esteem? You know what that does to one's humanity, their pride, their ego, to feel powerless and nobody else is helping you? You have this result. I'm not justifying the shooting. I'm just telling y'all how shit happens. Anybody who works in mental health, you know what I'm talking about. Or even respect the humanity of a person. No, he should not be going to jail. Because that's passing the buck again. You know, they got all these anti-bullying programs. I've always said they're a bunch of bullshit. What they do in these anti-bullying programs, ran by a lot of white women. Well, they should understand that the person who's bullying them, they're being bullied because they're being obviously bullied at home, and they don't know what they're doing, so they act out on you. But first of all, a 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old is not a goddamn psychologist or a counselor. All they know is I have to go to school and worry about this person want to hit me, want to push me. For whatever reason, I don't give a damn what they're doing to him at home. All I know is I need this mother lover to stop. Y'all understand? Stop putting grown folks shit on kids. You know, what your grown people supposed to do is go and get in there and stop it. They don't need no damn theories. They need practice. To all you people, these non-profits, getting all these damn state and federal funds to push a bunch of bullshit. And getting kids hurt. And then create scenarios like this. And the school system passing the buck. In my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, you got this redneck hick asshole who's going to get on the news and say, where are the parents? Where are the parents? You know, the shooting at Cummings. It used to be an elementary school, but now it's obviously a middle school, because these were 13-year-olds. That appeared to be an act of bullying. From when I read the rest of the story, they got into a fight like they did at school, I guess. And the boy brought him a gun, and as they say in Memphis, he straightened his business up. I'm not justifying that either, but we're going to have deeper conversations other than, you need to put them in jail, they need to be this. How about you grown people do y'all motherfucking jobs? As school administrators, stop passing the buck. But one thing I haven't heard was from the mayor of Arlington or Mansfield, where are the parents? The government can't raise their kids. Where are the parents? Like the Memphis mayor did. You know why he was able to say that, black people? Because Memphis is 64% black. And so he felt empowered that he can say that to, he know he's talking to black people. And their school is majority black. So he felt empowered to do that. And a lot of y'all say, yeah, I agree with him 100%. I agree with him. You think he would, if that shooting, you know, if it happened at Germantown High School or Colleyville High School, they would ask, well, where are the parents? Where are the parents? The government can't raise their kids. Now, I am one who's totally against single motherhood, but what I'm not going to do is let an egotistical, arrogant, racist hunky try to slip in some kind of stereotype or racist epithet under the guise of we're all frustrated about these shootings at school. I'm not going to let it do that because I don't work like that. I'm not that kind of black dude. I'm not so mad at us that I let a cracker, a hunky, talk shit about black folks. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of mad at us. I'm upset and disappointed because I know we're better people than that. And if we would read up on how great we were and how great we can be, then this thing would end. So that's the kind of upset I am. But yeah, he gonna get his ass, the Memphis mayor, gonna get his little country tobacco chewing, rebel flag waving, big belly, country wrinkle face, boot face ass on TV. Where are the parents? But first of all, sir, Mr. Boy, it was the administration, it was the government that disempowered parents and teachers from being able to discipline the children in public or in private. So you take away parenting powers away from the parents through governmental laws, state and federal. Then, when that experiment fails or goes your way, now you want to ask, where are the parents? The government can't raise. See, there was a whole lot you could have read into what he said. Very racist. But by this being an upper middle class school in a very upper middle class city, town, the mayor of that city is not going to come out and ask, well, where are the parents? No. So as a community, we need to get ourselves together. The young man who did the bullying, yeah, there's some punishment that needs to come his way. And the young man who did the shooting, there's some punishment that needs to come his way as well. But prison, long-term prison, nah. Because if we get the psychologists and the therapists involved, like they do everybody else, we'll see there's no need for prison. Because it's already, hell, he was probably driven there because, like, hell, felt that nobody was listening to him. Or, you know, people just get tired. We've allowed this, you know, we won't stand up for the stuff that we know that's impacted the mental health and the decision making of young people. Y'all know we live in the age of social media. Now, how come these parents or community at large don't attack all these radio stations and these TV stations that put all this trash out and these apps? That's the stuff they need to be talking about, because that's the stuff that's influencing the children. You know, the parents, there are a lot of people who are decent parents who tell their children, don't do this, don't do that, this is why, this is why. But still, you know, just like in the 80s, when you went outside, you did something different. And you know something different due to the lack of access and excess, you weren't able to get into such horrible, horrible trouble. Now, you lived in Lamar Gardens and Hurt Village and all that back in Memphis, and some of these hood-ass apartments where you went there. But here, children have access to everything. And know their young brothers should not be going to jail. Prison. Maybe should be put on some probation, some deep counseling, and maybe could have a meeting with the victims and express, you know, because we haven't heard from him. What does he think about this? And show him and other young people who are being bullied that you're not alone. So that's what the schools need to do. Hell, protect the children who are being bullied. You know they're different. And that's what teenagers do. They're assholes. Since the creation of teenagers, there's been bullying going on. And it's not going to stop. But it can stop if grown people stop passing the buck. Hey, Nene, what's up, good? You know, they just need to stop passing the buck. Because it's a collective thing why these things are happening. Grown people stop being in the lives of children. You stopped. You're so busy to worry about your own ass, and the children pretty much run amok. And stuff like this happens. There were fights, and we all survived. But right now, y'all see the stuff is different, so, you know, get involved. And again, like I said, get all these damn women out of get them out of secondary education and put them back in the kindergarten, Head Start, kindergarten up to the 5th grade, to about 6th grade. Get all these damn women out of the high schools. There's no place where get all these little feminine, soft-ass, punk-ass men out of the high schools. Let them be 3rd grade teachers. Where the children are harmless, they're just babies, they need cuddling and nurturing. But you start getting up to the 8th grade and boys start growing up, they need men. They don't need no more women. Because by the time these boys reach the 8th and 9th grade, they're going into the process of becoming men. They don't need any women there. They're also developing. So they see 9th grade Miss Davis. In 9th grade they see Miss Davis, or 10th grade they see Miss Davis. And Miss Davis probably 30 years old, or 25, or, you know, or 35 and fine. Well, he's not listening to what she's talking about. Because Miss Davis today wears her skirts tighter than the 9th grade girls. They got on booty jeans, tight jeans, just like the 10th grade girls. See what I'm talking about? Oh, Rico, you trying to shift the blame on somebody else, and he's responsible for doing the shooting. Say what you want to say, goddammit, but you know I'm right. But we want this to stop. Instead of putting all the funding and building all these huge-ass edifices called schools and building all these goddamn football stadiums, put some money into child development. Get some men. Get some masculine, straight, red, and medium rare steak-eating men in the school system from 9th grade and up. And then they might have to turn them into academies to get these boys out of there. Again, when I was in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade at Cypress Junior High School, you think a brawl or fight like that would have broke out? Not even in the cafeteria. Y'all know it goes down in the cafeterias. I mean, furniture moving, rubber chairs, every goddamn one. But it took one principal and one security guard. That shit was done in less than 2 minutes. They had everybody in check. Go to class. All they did was tell everybody, go to class. Motherfuckers hauled ass down the hall. But these little punk-ass administrators today, ducking and hiding. Yeah, you didn't need no damn what they call it. And again, I'm not putting the 80s on today because today is a little softer than the 80s because we didn't have all of that stuff. Now they got bomb shelters and where they could hide at and close a room and all this shit. Like, come on, y'all. Because we've taken our hands off the children. That's what's happening. And so that young man suffered in silence and hell, and all his only recourse was he wanted to do like I wanted to do when I was being bullied. I wanted the bully to stop when nobody else was listening. And I did what I felt I had to do. Luckily, nobody died, but they got some lumps and a couple scars. But they healed. So now we've got to the point where young people think they need to bring in guns and a gun culture. Let me say this. The first thing I saw, and I knew was coming, goddamn Texas state Democrats, or the Texas House. Well, see, the Republicans are so busy trying to push these permitless gun laws. They see now there was a mistake. Let me tell you, you ambulance chasing, opportunist son of a bitches called Democrats. Y'all are fucking the country up with your bullshit. And by the way, people had guns who were not licensed or licensed to carry or old enough to have them way before the permit list. So it has nothing to do with the new gun law. So y'all stop pushing that false narrative. Kids were getting guns way before then. So cut it out. You know they were putting them in the black neighborhoods long before then. So, but nobody want to have that discussion. So I want you lying ass Democrats, to you people who vote Democrat every goddamn election cycle, y'all go get y'all people and tell them to stop lying. So they finna use this boy's tragedy. They finna use the tragedies of the victims to try to get votes for 2022. We're not doing that. Y'all need to cut it out, you lame ass Democrats. Just sorry. You can't win on your own record because you don't do shit. So you're gonna try to use this tragedy, Democrats. That's the first damn thing I saw in the news. I knew it was coming. Well, the Republicans, they were wrong in that. And I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat. I'm an independent. I get to see both sides and I get to use my whole brain. And the first thing they did was want to attack gun laws. Leave that shit alone. Because if the permit list still says that you have to have a clean record, you have ID in order to do it. But when has the pistol shooters in the black neighborhood had a goddamn license to carry? So just cut it out. And stop acting surprised. Well, how are these kids getting these guns? We're in 2021. Stop acting surprised. If they can get hold to a porno site, they can get hold to a gun. So just stop that. We need to stop acting ignorant when it's convenient. So yeah, anybody's a Democrat, be offended, because y'all party ain't shit. Sucks. It sucks. And they're ambulance chasers, and they try to manipulate and use this tragedy to try to get votes for 2022. You know the Republicans gonna kick their ass in the midterm elections. They using anything they can get. Lames. Again, I just want to share my thoughts on it. You know, I need us to get ourselves back together and do what we should have been doing, or we've fallen off from doing. That is getting connected back to the children. This bullying thing can be stopped. But then have programs there where people like me come in and have real conversations with the kids. I'm for hire. I got a master's degree in social work. I worked with young people, young adults for the past 24 years in substance abuse, mental health treatment. Hey, come get at me. I like to have real conversations with young people. I don't do those white women conversations. Well, you know, we all suspect one another. No, I don't do that. I have real conversations with young people are. What young people are is they're 15, they're 16, they're 14, they're 12, they're 17. That's where they are, and that's why I talk to them where they are so they can understand. Get it? So I walked past a nice little chunk of my running route. I just wanted to share this with y'all. And I bet this video ain't gonna go viral. Probably too long. But I just want to get my thoughts off. It'll be on my YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist. Now, y'all be cool. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll talk again in the future. If more stuff comes about, I'll have more to say about it. But that's pretty much that's to say about that, you know. And again, get more men in the classroom. Get rid of these old fruity tooty soft ass dudes. Get these goddamn remove a mass majority of the women from the secondary level and get these effeminate, soft-ass teachers, black, white, or whatever, out of the high schools and put them on from kindergarten up to probably 5th grade. Because if you watch that video, nobody was trying to break that up. If you watch any videos that's been on social media, girls are fighting and nobody's trying to break that up. But it's interesting in these videos that's all over social media, when a girl is attacking the boy and nobody has anything to say. But as soon as the boy, man, two-piece ass, all of a sudden the teacher appears out of nowhere. Hey, that's a girl, don't hit her. I'm like, wow, really? So it's the games being played and we're not paying attention. And again, a young black male is going to be served, going to be used as a sacrificial lamb for other people's political fodder, for their political comeuppance. And we shouldn't allow that to happen. I know the narrative is young black males, we hate them. And some of us, and a lot of us in our communities, we've gotten to the point, we hate black boys, we hate black males. And when it shouldn't be like that. They deserve to be loved and protected just like every other group of people. And black women, y'all should be the one on the front line trying to protect black boys. Who the hell your daughter's gonna have to marry? Who's going to protect the community? Women can't. So you should be nurturing and protecting these boys. Psychologically, mentally, emotionally, all of that. Yeah, we join the very people who don't like us. That's right, he need to go to jail. And nobody was really right in this situation. It was a terrible situation all the way around. Those who unfortunately, collateral damage, and the boy trying to allegedly get the bully off of him, and I'll bet $1 a donut that he wasn't trying to aim to hit anybody innocent. He was just probably, just pissed, and he's shooting in a school. He wasn't thinking. Y'all know how this shit go. He wasn't thinking. All he knows, he wanted it to stop. And you can't just beat nobody's ass like that and expect a male child not to have some kind of. Y'all, come on, y'all. Y'all stop acting like y'all understand nature. Can't about it. These grown people, we used to get our ass beat. Yeah, that was in the 80s or whatever, but yeah, like y'all know, they're not built like that. They're not going, and now they're recording you getting your ass beat. People are not going to take that. They're just not. They're not going to stand there and watch, getting pummeled. Teenage boys aren't built like that. They're not going to sit there and let, he trying not to, stop. He trying to ball up and not even fight the boy. The boy was still all on him. He just had enough. Y'all never heard of breaking points? And when someone reached their breaking point, none of us can determine or decide how the person should or is going to react. It's not going to happen. It's never happened that way. So what we need to do is get off these damn cell phones, damn laptops, and become physically involved in children's lives and changing the way they think. Stop spending money on these large-ass high schools. Stop spending money on this, new technology for police cars and put money into the development of children. Get some people who are down to earth who can talk to the children. Put stuff into that. And also begin the process of separating boys from everybody else. The boys need academies. And finally, when the counseling is put in place and a real anti-bullying program is put in place, not these little fake-ass programs and all these suburbs and these white women got control of all of the non-profit dollars when it comes to that. Real programs. Put men back on the ground. Put men back in these schools as real men, not these old soft-ass, fruity-tooty-ass dudes. Oh, my God, what's happening? I hid in the closet, and it was just pandemonium. I told y'all, when I was growing up, I know it's different, Mr. Simon and Mr. Walton ran the whole school. When I got to high school, it was one principal, one man, and one assistant principal. And then they got some assistance from a couple of the coaches. Y'all hear me? So somebody's playing games with the children. And we're going to see how this plays out. I hope someone comes to the young man's rescue other than, come to his aid and explain, who can articulate even better than I can when it comes to this. And again, my prayers, my support, and my empathy, as well as my sympathy, goes to all the parents of that high school at Cummings and Memphis, Tennessee, as well as Timberview and Arlington, Texas. I know it has to be horrible for a parent to like, God damn, they're shooting at the school. I'm worried about my child. Look. But we as grown folks will have to start being grown people, become stewards of children again. That's the point blank. Because somebody's missing out on something. Somebody's not getting what they need at home. And when they don't get what they need at home, the rest of us in society, we become victims. Y'all understand that? Okay. Anyway, let me get across the street first. Hold on, I'm gonna run. Ooh. And then, when I get across the street, then I'm gonna say goodbye to y'all for real. Alright, let me look over here. Y'all ain't gonna see me get knocked on my ass on live. Alright, y'all be cool. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist, at your own risk. Talk to y'all in the future. Peace.